Hey everyone, welcome to Zealots. I'm Forrest.
I'm Nature.
And I am not your father, but instead Matt.
Oh, nice.
No,
Too bad there's no
I am your father.
Too bad there's no Star Wars content to discuss this week.
Actually, that's not true. That's a perfect segue. And Matt didn't even know I had a quick Star Wars question I wanted to ask the Jedi Master about.
All right.
So we'll do that in a second. But first, I'll let Forrest finish explaining what else we're going to talk about today.
Okay, so I really want to talk about Stranger Things first. Miss Marvel, I watched it. Everyone else see that?
Yeah, it was definitely
a show.
Episode. Yeah, it was definitely an episode.
It was definitely an episode of television.
Watch it.
And also another excellent episode of The Boys.
Now that's what I call TV.
Yeah. So I really just want to I think Stranger Things had the most screen time. So maybe we should talk about that last. Maybe start with The Boys. Start enthusiastic with The Boys.
Episode 8, because I have yet to see episode 9. We're actually going to watch it right after this podcast and the kids go to bed.
Okay, we can just do episode 8 today, and then we can just do episode 9 later on. Because really all we have is Miss Marvel next week, which is so cruel. We're having The Boys and Miss Marvel.
The Boys finale, right?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, but we'll just talk about the last episode of Stranger Things. So, so Stranger Things episode 8 was called Papa.
Papa, yep.
So
cool. So it sounds like it's going to be a great episode.
I guess we know the Duffer Brothers' favorite pizza chain, right? After the
Domino's.
Yeah, well, no, it's funny because I think Dustin and Lucas, the actors, they appeared as themselves on a Domino's commercial. If anyone still watches cable TV,
I do not. I have not seen that commercial. I'm surprised it's not a Coke commercial with all the Coke products. But so let's go ahead. Let me ask my random Star Wars question, and then we'll dive into The Boys, and we'll do some Stranger Things. And then, we can talk about Miss Marvel. I don't remember any of it. There was a train. They went to Karachi. All right, and that's our excellent review of Mrs. Marvel. Very, very memorable episode.
The marvelous Mrs. Marvel.
So Matt, my question is: English doesn't exist in the Star Wars universe, right? They use Arabish, correct?
So that's the writing system, Abresh. Yep.
Okay, that's the writing system. Then why are there X wings and Y wings and A wings, and why do they have English letters when they don't have an English alphabet?
It's translated to us, I guess.
It's transliterated. I don't know. There's a very famous SNL with Charles Barkley session that got cut from the broadcast about him being a Jedi and not understanding everybody else.
What? That sounds amazing.
They
I
could
love
speak
when Charles
George.
Barkley goes on.
I'll post it on the Discord after, but yeah, they could all understand the droid and the Wookiee, and Charles Barkley is like, "What's he saying? I don't know what's going on. How do you speak this many languages?"
And if anyone wants to join, we do have a free Discord. I'll post a link in the description below. Come be a part of the conversation. Come say hi. Tell us what you're thinking about these television shows. But cool, yeah, that was just random. I was just curious. I'm gonna go with Robbie's answer because that'll help me sleep at night. Just the translation.
I think the only language in the Star Wars universe I know is Jawaese. I guess it's not called Wookieese because Wookiees aren't
Arabish.
I've never heard Arabish till today.
For writing.
That's the regular one. That's the general.
It's like the dominant language in the galaxy, I guess.
Yeah,
Russian is the language.
Not Jawaese, but
Russian is a language, but they write in Cyrillic. So Abresh is just a writing system.
I see, says the blind man. Okay. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. What do you guys think about The Boys?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Let's start with The Boys.
Let's just dive right into it. Phenomenal television.
So I don't want to give away that twist right away. You can.
Why not? Spoiler alert. Let's just dive right into it.
Yeah, we saw Mindstorm's ass, so that was the biggest spoiler. Was not expecting that.
It was a mind fuck, that's for sure.
Yeah.
This episode, on 2 separate occasions, almost made me turn it off because it was just so cringy. But at the same time, I couldn't help but keep watching, and that just shows you some great writing.
Yeah, there was the. I mean, Butcher was sort of in his own mind, his nightmare, which I figure was just like made it feel like a bottle episode almost. Definitely like
just because he was
episode.
Trapped inside.
Yeah, well, so I mean, I was like, oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No, the first scene is definitely the scene involving the Deep.
Oh yeah, with the
octopus.
Yeah. And how
tried
his
to have
wife
like
has
a
finally had
thing.
enough. Yeah, she went to Vassar, and he has formidable intellect, you know. But that whole sitting there in my chair, just squirming, watching that.
The Deep is so dumb without her, and if she's gone, I think the Deep's value has just significantly gone downhill. Like, he's not gonna be able to keep up, like, playing the game with the other 7.
I wonder if he's gonna get. Yeah, I wonder if he's gonna get kicked off the team again, or if he's just gonna get killed off. Because I don't know. They're basically Deep has just become like a joke character. He doesn't really have any, much character growth. He's basically the same character as he was in the first season. He's just a little bit more. He knows how to, he's still a piece of shit, is what I'm saying. But he's somehow managed to maneuver his way back into the team.
And so, like, I agree. They're definitely going to kill him off. But the one thing I really think that they missed out on this episode was having a post-credit scene where the Deep actually goes on Sean Hannity, and we see how bad he was on Sean Hannity. And I think that was like kind of a missed moment.
That would have been fantastic. No way Sean Hannity would have agreed to that. But getting like a lookalike or doing Cameron Coleman.
Yeah, I mean, they're running out things to do with them, but at the same time, he's like, it's never been the 7, it's always been the 6. It's like, so Homelander, Blackmore, Maeve, A-Train, Deep, and Starlight have always been like the 6 team members that have still stuck around since the first season. And it's funny because there've never been like 7 team members unless except like first episode and like one episode this season. They automatically kill off a team member, when there's actually 7 members. So it would be weird, I guess, because they would have to add two new team members next season if they killed them off, though. But I don't know.
The turnover rate in that team is super high.
It's like Spinal Tap's drummer,
right? just keeps flowing through. Well, I doubt Maeve is gonna die. At least not yet, because it seems like Homelander needs her alive.
Oh, and how about him saying, he's gonna take her eggs?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not going to rape you. I am going to harvest your eggs.
I am going to harvest your eggs.
Yeah.
Which is preferable, I would imagine, but still terrible, like awful. But she has one of the best lines. She's like, even though I'm locked up, it's still one of the top 3 days of my life. This is the first time I've ever seen you scared. And I was like, good line, Maeve.
I was like, damn.
I was ready for Homelander to just like eye laser her right there on the spot and be like, oh, damn it, my anger fucked up my big plans again.
I also loved how Homelander had Soldier Boy PTSD, like when he's looking at that crowd before going to
right,
and you see Soldier Boy. Yeah, and some of the people noticed that, like, what's he about to do?
Oh yeah, he's just like, and this is who's the president's guy?
Robert
Jim Beaver.
This is
vote for him. He's great.
I'm endorsing.
He's kind of just talking about Starlight the entire time, and then like he's like, vote for this guy.
And then he goes back to milk a cow.
This is a good time to introduce this.
Him and the milk.
I didn't know this. There are some areas on Reddit, what the cool kids call subreddits. There are some areas on the boys fan page subreddits that were basically ran and maintained by very right-winged moderators and content providers, like people who posted. And so, like, we've all like loved this show, and we all knew Homelander was a piece of shit since like episode 1, like, or 2, right? But apparently there's this whole community that thought Homelander was always the good guy and didn't figure out that Homelander is the series bad guy until like this last episode, the episode before last, and they're like freaking out online.
Is this the same community that was upset about Rage Against the Machine being political?
Yeah, it's like that kind
of. When did they mention that line was in this episode? Who said it? I forgot. Or am I completely off? Did they mention Rage Against the Machine in this episode?
I don't remember that. I just think Matt was talking about how people were upset, like Rage Against the Machines was a, people were upset that they were political, but then again, they were always political. But yeah, so like, it just blows my mind. I didn't know that people out there thought Homelander was the good guy, and guys, there are people out there who thought the boys like Butcher and Huey thought they were the bad guys in the show, and that Homelander was the good guy.
Oh, wow.
And that's crazy to me. That's even after season 2.
That's what they're telling
right, exactly.
everybody.
And it just turns out like there's like this small subsect on there, on the TV or in real life that believe that too.
Well, I think George Carlin, God rest his soul, said it best when he said, "Imagine the dumbest person you know that you've ever met in your whole life, and then realize that 50% of America is dumber than that."
Yeah, I think what's the guy name? Who's Mother's Milk? His ex-wife's husband. What's his name? Todd.
Yeah, and he's
he's very pro Homelander.
He was at the rally.
Very pro
Homelander. Punched right in the face.
He gives me kind of Robbie vibes. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why.
What?
Robbie vibes? No way.
What do you mean?
Robbie.
No, that's furthest from the Robbie. That's furthest from the Robbie.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No, Robbie. Who is Rob? Rob's more like Huey, right? Rob's like a really good guy, but like if you kick Robbie in the nuts enough times, he will get mad enough to kick you in the nuts back.
Yeah.
But it's a couple of taps.
Rob's got a nice guy.
Yeah, Rob's got a really great demeanor. I would say much better than Butcher, right? Who's a real son of a bitch.
It's all about swinging first.
The Butcher finds out that Compound V is lethal, and
3 to 5 doses.
Doesn't share it with Huey.
He's on dose 4, isn't he?
Probably more than that.
3 or 4.
I'd say like
he's 4
and
or 5
Huey's on
at this
3,
point, so he already knows he's dead, and Huey should be on dose 3.
And he doesn't tell Huey. It just says we're gonna take this.
It really kind of just shows just like same thing with like letting Soldier Boy live or like not knocking Mother's Milk out, but like he's willing to put his team members under the mission. Like the mission's always, or his revenge against Homelander, like it takes number 1 spot.
Yeah,
and
the
his
mission above
priorities.
Everything.
Like and
for
also, the team members, like especially like Kimiko. Remember in the episode with where they go to Russia, he was like she was expendable. Mother's Milk was expendable, and now Huey's expendable. Just take out Homelander. So
they're all.
There's also the point with when they were fighting Soldier Boy. I mean, Soldier Boy was helping him fight Homelander, and he tells him to get out of there, and he sees that Huey's ready to just like die for that if he had to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it's kind of funny because like remember like when Huey found out Victoria Newman was the head popper. I think he told Butcher immediately, even though he didn't want to. So that was like interesting. Like, oh, he's gonna tell, because the way it made it look like he was gonna tell Huey the truth, but he was like, nope. Gotta take out.
Hey guys, hold on. I have an interesting question to pose to you all in regards to this. Would you take temporary V if somebody was like, hey, we got this safe space, we got ideal conditions, here's some, temporary Compound V.
I wonder what superpower you end up
Is it
Sounds
lethal?
like the LSD experiments in college.
Does it still have the bad side effects that kill you? Because if so, then I'll just take the regular Compound V. But I think like the moral of the story
better deal
here
you
is
get
that
3 hits off.
No, but that's not the deal. Would you take the temp V?
No,
because it
kind of like going on a thrill ride. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a good point. I could see how much crime I could commit on one dose. See how much money I could if I could rob all the banks. If I was teleporting, I would just take one dose of Compound V, and I guess I would just
but all those
become
pills
the
are
world's
traceable
greatest
though, so they'd be able to
magician.
catch you once your teleportation wore off.
Oh, see, that's the thing. I just steal one day. I just wear a face mask. They'll never know who. Oh, but
the bills are traceable.
When I teleport,
though.
I'm naked.
So once you spend them, they'll know. They'll be able to find you.
Yeah, Forrest, you're talking to the
Unless
wrong
you
guy.
get another
Maybe 3
superpower.
weeks ago, but I have seen season 1 of Ozark. All right, I know how to launder money now, so I'm not worried about these.
The issue
bills.
isn't that the money that the cartel has is traceable. The issue is, can they make it seem legal, like it was obtained legally? It's a different issue.
Yeah. I know it was a joke. It was a joke for the podcast.
What
It
you
was
want
not
to do
meant
is
be
have it
legal
has the money.
advice.
What you want to do is like what they did on Goodfellas, had the money exchanged for French money overseas in a military base, and have it re-exchanged for American money. That way, it's untraceable.
I mean, that's a good idea. The euro is at a
like that.
20-year low.
Watch Goodfellas for a second.
At the time of this recording, and it's in parity with the U.S. dollar. So
$1
if
too.
you're planning on going to correct.
Yeah. And
If you're planning on going to Europe in the next 5 years, it might be time to hit that bank and start grabbing some euros over the next 2 years. Just start saving up some while the exchange rate's good.
I have like $1.25 in euros from Ireland still in my dresser
it's only
drawer. So
$1.20
it's-
now. Damn inflation.
Yeah.
Hey, do you think Mindstorm cares about inflation? Nah,
No, because
he lives in the woods.
Yeah, he's basically like Unabomber. He's kind of this guy's own shack, right?
Yeah.
Apparently he's got
Yeah, that
some
guy is like
voices or
insanely
something.
powerful. He's over.
Only if
he's
you make
OP.
eye contacts. All they should have done is like wore sunglasses.
I
They would've
been
liked
fine, right?
how
Suit
it was a
sunglasses.
race between Huey and Soldier Boy to see who could get to Mindstorm first. Because like it
And
would
he
be
could just
ironic if
teleport
Butcher
to him.
died like that. If Soldier Boy just left him to die, because Butcher would leave him to die for the mission, right? Soldier's gonna soldier, and I don't think Butcher would have
Yeah.
minded that. But luckily, Huey saved Butcher's life.
Because he was an idiot. But yeah.
But does anyone save Mindstorm's life? No.
Well, I think Soldier Boy
No.
pretty much putting into that. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was a good scene. I'm glad that Huey saved Butcher. I thought like if Mindstorm just died or if he was killed by Soldier Boy, then Butcher would just snap out of it. But I guess that wasn't the case.
Yeah,
I guess
that's
his spell still works after he's dead. So, yeah. So what else had this episode? I guess Homelander and Victoria Newman teamed up.
Do you guys want to talk about the big reveal at the end of the episode?
Let's do the
everyone's
Victoria Newman
mind?
thing.
Okay,
That
let's do
that wasn't as interesting, but it was still.
All right.
It's probably gonna like filter into the next episode. So, she failed to get Starlight to work for her, and now she's trying to, I guess, approach Homelander with a similar deal. So he choked her out a little bit, and then that scene
Yeah,
ended. Yeah, let's
that
talk
was
about the reveal at the end.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I mean, what's his name? Who plays Homelander?
You get the call from Soldier Boy.
A whatever.
Wait, no,
Adam.
Forrest, I was deeply enthralled. What then happened next?
I don't remember the scene ended. I think just like she was like you're losing it, and then
No,
he
Forrest,
freaked
we'll
out.
skip to the reveal. We'll
Oh, when she
reveal.
she had him on live video. She's like, you're not supposed to.
No, that was Starlight. That wasn't Newman though. That was a different
Oh.
scene. But
Oh,
we
yeah,
can
you're-
bring that up.
Wait, Newman from Seinfeld? No, wait.
Yep.
Okay, so anyway, what
Hello,
Rob is talking
Homelander.
about is that Homelander confronts Starlight, right? And she
Yeah.
is just
the
had
wrong
it.
choke
She
scene.
is
when Starlight was
pressured.
being-
Yeah, right. She's choking
Oh wait, no, she
on
didn't.
the
she didn't.
grasp,
Yeah, she didn't.
right? On the air that Homelander breathes, and she's had enough, right? So she calls out Homelander, and Homelander is just being a complete scumbag. And then she just like whips out that phone. It's like, I'm recording. Like, say hello to my
Not afraid
190
of you
million
anymore.
followers.
Definitely one of
right?
the oldest tricks in the book.
Oldest
Although, like,
tricks in the book.
it's interesting. It's enhanced by the fact that you can like stream live to millions of people.
Yeah,
now,
I think
instead of
it's
just, like-
really good though. Like Anthony Starlight, Homelander was like, Starlight, you're not supposed to record us running our lines. Like he's gonna be able to get, get out of this.
It's kind of like if he had just like had a tape recorder, he could just like snatched it around and like destroyed it. But like everyone's already seen it.
when you're live streaming, like it's in the cloud already. It's too late for that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, good damage control
Somebody
by
out there
Homelander. We'll
has
see
it,
if
it's
it
just
pays off.
Gonna spread.
So
Trying
Matt,
to-
if you're not the father, then why are we on this set of Murray right now?
So basically, we learn at the end as to why we will not be seeing Soldier Boy fight Homelander.
Again.
So it's a good enough twist that changes the last episode. It makes me wonder if
it's not going to be that easy as
exactly
Soldier Boy.
So
now
I feel
is
like
it?
Cindy's going to come back somehow.
And who is
The
Cindy? Can you
telekinesis
remind?
chick?
Can you remind the listeners at home?
Yeah, the one who got set free from that when they were testing V on adults.
Now that was
Seeing how
way
they take
early
it.
season 2, right?
Yeah, and last we saw was we thought Stormfront took her out, and then we see her after credits hitchhiking, and we don't know where she is now.
So
I think they're gonna have to like hire Love Sausage instead of Soldier Boy next episode.
I think you're overthinking it, Robbie.
It's
Because-
possible. I mean, she's got to come back, or
No.
are they just letting her?
And
be
hey,
in this
Robbie,
They're already
Robbie, we're on a podcast. Gosh darn it, you overthink the hell out of this, and then you record an episode.
There are
You
too
don't
many
listen to these
shows
naysayers.
with women with shaved heads as Deus Ex Machinas,
Yeah.
with overly
So-
powerful women with shaved heads.
I
I
will
think
say
here's
there's
my
shows
thing.
like that.
Is
I'll say this,
yeah,
Robbie,
go
to
ahead, man.
counteract your conclusion. Spoiler alert: Soldier Boy had some samples taken from him, and is Homelander's father. And I loved that scene on the phone at the end to end that. And that's part of the reason why he's sent to the Russians, is because Homelander can fly. He's the same hero, but he can fly. Now, what I think it's going is Homelander and Soldier Boy are going to team up. And when they're fighting Starlight and the crew, Homelander is going to turn on Soldier Boy in a moment of weakness and kill Soldier Boy, because ultimately he's the ultimate power. So I think that's the more likely scenario.
No
I don't know.
one.
It speaks to Homelander's character, how he has to be number one. So
Yeah, and
Well, so does
Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy said he wouldn't mind his son taking the spot.
he's like, I would have just like let you take the spotlight,
Yeah.
myself. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I think maybe Homelander's gonna kill Soldier Boy regardless, just because of that footage of him killing all those people in New York City. So he's just like too much of a liability.
Ooh, what if
at this
Ryan
point.
kills? What if Ryan kills Soldier Boy? Right, so
Oh,
Soldier
he
Boy
already killed
and
Stormfront. Well,
Soldier Boy and Homelander go to find Ryan. Right, that way we can get 3 generations of super shitty heroes, and then the boys are there with Starlight to defend Ryan. Right, because we see Victoria Newman give Homelander, she was getting choked out, and she gave him that piece of paper on it with an address. So that's probably where Ryan is.
and we are all forgetting
yeah.
about Kimiko having her powers back, and how Frenchie missed her orgasm and didn't really seem to be that upset about it.
yeah. Well, we got to talk about the
That
biggest.
was a weird line, for sure. When he was like, "Oh, I can't believe I missed her orgasm. That's a shame." or
He
whatever.
also found out how to take out Soldier Boy, because it wasn't knockout gas; it was nerve gas.
It was the
They took him
vapor.
The vapor, yeah.
How you inhale it?
So-
Not
well,
Homelander, Soldier Boy. Yeah. Let me
Yeah,
ask you this,
so-
guys. Let's play a fun game of hypothetical. Let's imagine the boys are getting ready for this big battle with Homelander and Soldier Boy against the boys, and Frenchie and Mother's Milk decide to take V-24. What do you guys think their superpowers will be, or would be?
I
what about
think
you, Forrest?
Mother's Milk is going to become a human puddle of milk, and then
Okay.
French, yeah, he's
Gotta
going to
go with the name.
Frenchie's going to become like the next Love Sausage,
I was
because
waiting for you to be like, turns into a baguette. I was waiting for something like that.
even better, like take the form of baguette, take the form of milk, sort of like the Wonder. So like baguettes taste great in milk.
Ugh.
So yeah, I don't know.
Maybe cheese. Maybe Mother's Milk becomes cheese, and then
It becomes
Frenchie
like
steals them away.
it becomes like the Thing, but like made of cheese.
What
The
about
thing's already
you,
orange.
Tip? What do you think Frenchie and Mother's Milk superpowers would be?
I think Frenchie would become very like fluidly flexible,
Agreed.
Mr. Fantastic.
Agreed.
and then and yeah, kind of ish, yeah. And then
I was thinking.
Now you have to think of another one.
Mother's Milk will die.
You think Mother's Milk would die from a
Would
bad
die.
reaction?
I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah,
they're gonna
just
kill
the
anything in
morals.
5, but
I'm just
Maybe. I mean, spoiler alert, they do in the comics. Let's go to Robbie.
Oh God, wait, don't say it.
Robbie, what do you think their superpowers would be?
I mean, look at Mother's Milk's arms.
Right? Big old arms. You think he's gonna get some jack arms?
It seems like super strength is kind of standard, and maybe he just like adds to it.
Right? I was thinking super strength, but that's so boring.
What if he basically becomes like an immovable object? Like,
hey. Ooh, I like that. How about this? You know how he's had
basically the Juggernaut.
A Mother's Milk, bitch.
He's had 2 run-ins with Love Sausage. What if he took Compound V and he gets like a huge fucking dick? What if he becomes like the next Love Sausage?
That'd be way too stereotypical.
The thing that he hated. We're like, oh yeah.
I know.
What if they're big tits? What if these?
And he starts lactating.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what.
Now you know why they called me Mother's Milk.
Mother's Milk.
He gets the ability to like make
milk,
all kinds of stuff.
You know who has all the answers? Is Matt, and that's why I saved the best for last.
I mean, he could have some kind of acidic milk spewing
did you go
memorial.
Some kind of stupid umbrella academy.
You know his catchphrase would be?
Yeah, exactly.
It's clobbering time. It's more like time for your utter defeat.
It's slobbering time.
Before I answer this, if you've read the comics, he is called Mother's Milk because his mother was exposed to it when she was pregnant with her twins, one being Mother's Milk. And when they were breastfeeding, his brother got superpowers and ultimately died because of it. So he's called Mother's Milk because of that. As for your answer, Frenchie would definitely be Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, all stretchy and crazy.
Okay.
And I mentioned him last week, and I'm going to mention him again this week because he's one of my favorite characters. But Mother's Milk would definitely be Bishop.
Okay.
What's Bishop? He just absorbs kinetic energy.
So yeah, he absorbs energy and then gives it right back. But he's also like one of these futuristic fighters who has guns in the comics as well. So he,
time travels,
defends himself until he gets all the energy and then can blow the energy back. So
there's like 3 mutants in the X-Men universe with that power. It's like Sebastian Shaw was the first one. Then I think it was Maverick, who was on Team X Wolverine, and then it was Bishop. So I like that power. That's an interesting power, but I think they've used it too often. They use it too much. But yeah,
I think they use an Umbrella Academy.
But yeah, I think super strength would just be like pretty boring. I would prefer they do something like maybe like invisibility or.
But the fact that like for me, Bishop, he's a soldier from the future who travels back to the past. So that's his start. He just happens to have these powers, and I think that would be perfectly in line of Mother's Milk as a soldier, who then gets powers.
What about like not kinetic energy absorption, but matter absorption? Sort of like Absorbing Man. Whatever he touches, he becomes. Like he touches a brick wall, it becomes a brick wall.
I was thinking about some kind of
he merges with the environment.
Absorbing powers.
What if he touches himself?
He absorbs himself. It's like King Midas. It's sort of like in Time Cop.
Turns into Tech Knight.
Matter can't occupy the same space.
Kirby.
Could King Midas masturbate?
No, he could not.
We'll ever hear of Goldmember?
Loud thunder. I don't know if my mic.
Go ahead, Matt.
I quit after that one. I quit. I was going to say, the most vicious character ever in the Nintendo series, Kirby.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Kirby's like, well, it's sort of like the Blob from X-Men too. He's like sort of indestructible too.
He sucks
it's not
you
that he's
in,
fat.
gets
It's
your
just
powers.
it's just his power set. He can like, you can't hurt him. Or I don't know. But yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, a lot of cool powers out there. So it's like I think just like Butcher has just standard super strength and laser eyes, and I don't think.
That'd be pretty standard for his pretty standard character. I mean, don't get me wrong, like the acting's great, but like he's not going on some Joan of Arc adventure or whatever. Like super strength would be like on par for the character.
Yeah. And if I'm remembering the comics correctly, none of them have like unique powers when they're on Compound V. Like they all just have super strength, if I'm correct.
Just super generic.
And he's all anti-Homelander. He gets a piece of Homelander.
Yeah. Well, we got to talk about the best part about the episode, which was Black Noir's fever dream with the animated animals.
Oh
now,
my gosh.
Is that a fever dream, or did Homelander beat him so badly he's permanently brain damaged?
No, it was Soldier Boy.
I was thinking it was part of the brain
or
damage.
Soldier Boy.
I was actually
he
reading
said
an
since he was
article
little.
that discussed it with the director and creator of the episode, and what he said
just
is,
spoil it. Just give it away.
we've already cut out a lot of the side stories where Black Noir has seen these characters in the past. In episode 3, he's seen drawing the beaver. But really what he said is the only way to present this was in some sort of flashback, but because in episode 3 we already had a flashback, he didn't want to repeat himself of going back to that same day but seeing it from a different vision because he didn't want to bore the audience. He also wanted to keep this very serious theme, somewhat comedic, but also giving him his backstory in full in a way that's not just this generic flashback.
I like how they kept the voice actors when they were playing those parts.
Yeah, I did like because you thought from episode 3 that he just got hit by a bomb, that's why his face was burned. But then you found out, really, Soldier Boy
that was a good
his
twist.
Face against a hot surface,
and then popped his brain out.
But
yeah, with the shield, and you saw how heavy that shield was when Huey tried to lift it up.
Yeah,
it's a
heavy
callback
shield.
to Captain America. There with that shield bash.
His shield is
talking about Captain Winter Soldier Boy.
Yeah, when he takes it, when he beheads that guy.
One time he did it, and then in Civil War, when he's going to do it again to Iron Man, he's like, "No, I can't do it."
Yeah.
It's too sharp. Yeah, that was. I
So
thought
who
that was
dies?
great.
But
Someone's got to
Captain
die
America's
next
shield
episode.
Captain America's shield isn't.
I think it's
really
gonna be
heavy,
Soldier
though.
Boy, but I mean, I think it was pretty much from the start that Soldier Boy was only like a
one season Soldier Boy.
It was like a one season sort of deal.
I say Starlight, Kimiko, and Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm interested because I know Eric Kripke, who is the showrunner for this show, is also the showrunner for Supernatural, and he wants to bring in James. Who's the guy who plays Negan? Jeffrey D. Morgan, and he wants to bring in the other guy, Jared Padalecki, into the show too. So who do you think those characters would play in the comic? Matt, you've read the comic. I'm thinking like Tech Knight would be one of them because we haven't seen Tech Knight yet.
Oh, that's rough. I like that answer.
Also, we haven't seen Jack from Jupiter. We saw like a cameo with him, I think like a porno actor was playing him, but we haven't seen him for real. So I'm wondering if he's going to be added next season.
You don't remind me, and I will get back to that question next week because I feel like that deserves some research now that I think about it.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry. Are you thinking Jeffrey Dean Morgan for Tech Knight? Because I think that is perfect casting.
No, I agree with that one.
And maybe Jared Padalecki as Jack from Jupiter. I've only read through The Boys up to the part where they're fighting Payback, and I think Butcher bit off Soldier Boy's nose. So I wonder if they're going to do that. I wonder if they're going to replicate that next week.
That'd be
spoiler.
fun. That'd be a fun
I haven't seen the episode, but in the comic, spoiler. So sorry, I'm spoiling this comic for everyone.
Well, I mean,
Ray got the big twist at the end.
It's all good.
Well, I don't think they're going to go through with that one. I think it's obvious that Black Noir isn't.
I'm kind of glad they're doing a different ending.
So what do you guys think Black Noir's going to actually do? I mean, obviously, they can just get slapped around by these
Well, I think
guys,
he's going to try.
I mean?
He's going to have another rematch with Soldier Boy.
Do you think he's
He
going to die
doesn't seem
instantly?
as powerful as he is in the
Yeah, I think he's just going to
comic.
die instantly.
He's going to walk up. He's going to march badass. He's going to face his fears and take on Soldier Boy, and then just get slaughtered.
Do it.
Maybe
anyway.
Homelander. I bet Homelander. Homelander betrays Black Noir for Soldier, and leads him to Soldier Boy. I think maybe.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. It's
wonder.
gonna be a great finale, though.
Yeah, because Black Noir has been betrayed before by the Homelander-esque character Soldier Boy.
I'm just sad it's only eight episodes. It's just not enough, But I understand, the smaller the episode count, the better, the more money they can pump into each episode. So,
and just tighter story. And this has been a tight story.
It's been amazing. I think either Black Noir is killed in 1 second, or he survives completely. It could go either way, where he survives and is a non-factor.
yeah.
You guys hear that? You guys
What
heard
do you
that here
think?
first. No, that is a Zeitgeist Zealots exclusive. Black Noir, you heard it here first, guys. If you quote us, if you use this as a source, all we ask is you just quote us, right? You heard it from Matt first. Black Noir season finale either lives or dies. Main headline.
I think I'll put in the poll.
What I'm saying is,
I know what you're saying. I'm just
I can
teasing
totally
you.
see it with the boys to kill them off in 1 second to build up this whole story because that is just the boys.
That's
But I
such
can
a
totally
fuck
see
you.
too,
Yeah.
That would
where
suck.
he initiates the fight and then just becomes a non-factor because this chaos ensues, and then you forget
Yeah.
that Black Noir is there. So and ends up
And
surviving
then he
because
pops up and
everybody is
distracts
there.
him at the last second or something. I hope
Yeah,
so.
so-
After all that animation, they've got to do
Yeah.
something.
Hey, what do you
And I
guys think
also-
about what's going to happen with Victoria Newman's daughter?
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see what's
Yeah,
gonna
they
come
didn't
of her.
reveal that.
Her and Ryan, Homelander's son, are gonna fall in love, and they're gonna be a love story in season 9.
Oh, that's a
It's
Hey,
interesting.
I don't think we can pay for the licensing right for that Seinfeld. Just
Oh
Um,
yeah, great. The YouTube filter is gonna kill us. Whoever's playing
Yeah.
Seinfeld in the background.
they just heard that bass line. Oh, there goes the monetization.
Yeah.
So really
We're
quick,
doomed.
I find it interesting, this whole series, kind of last point on the boys, how A-Train's character has, his character arc this season.
Yeah.
How he ends up with the heart of the guy he hates.
Oh
the
yeah.
rapist.
Blue Hawk's heart.
And
You know what that
then
reminds me
all
of?
of a sudden they're going to do, finally they're going to do his own movie. So he's getting everything he wants, a new heart, movie, and it's all wrong.
Yeah. Well, it
It's all
reminds me of that
tainted.
episode of Oz where in that show there's the neo-Nazis in the prison, and I think one of them gets an operation for some new gums, and the gums were from a black donor. So the other neo-Nazis kick him out of the group because he has black gums. And I think he tries to remove them. It's pretty
Oh my
grueling,
god.
but yeah, it's just
Oz,
like
Oz.
when you're a racist
Awesome
or not
show, and you'll be
racist. Train's not
amazed.
racist, but it's like when someone you hate is now inside of you, or like you owe your life to them. That's gotta be like a real mess with your mind. So, but yeah, I like that. It's sort of like be careful what you wish for. You want him dead, but it cost him. Now he's permanently part of him now. So.
And I will say this for everybody listening, Oz is definitely a show worth revisiting. The first few episodes are a little clunky, but still to this day, it's an awesome series, and you'll be blown away with some of the actors in the late 90s in this show.
Would you say it was an awesome show?
Yeah, and plus, late
That was
it was like
fun.
a
Thanks.
early show with prominent gay characters. A lot of very diverse cast because you had the blacks, you had the Italians, you had the Latinos, you had the Irish gang, like all the gangs, like the Muslims, just all the such a diverse cast. So it was really ahead of its time from what I've seen. But yeah, also J.K. Simmons
show is
plays Oz. OZ has nothing to do with the Wizard of Oz. It's kind of the exact opposite of the Wizard of Oz. But yeah, I think J.K. Simmons, who plays J. Jonah Jameson, is the Nazi leader in that show. So it's like a complete 180 from what you would expect him to be in. So, but yeah, back to the boys. I don't really have anything else. I had to mute Tip because Seinfeld wouldn't shut up.
Yeah.
I think what is it? Yeah, great show. So I have really nothing else. How about we move on to Miss Marvel? I marvel at the boys, so maybe we should talk about something that's also marvelous, Miss Marvel. See? Segues write themselves, people. So yeah, this episode she goes to Karachi. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, Karachi.
Karachi to visit her grandmother. And I gotta say, her mother is the Kamala's mother is the worst disciplinarian of all time. She runs away from home to go to a convention they told her not to. They don't even ground her, and then she ruins her brother's wedding, and she gets a trip to Pakistan.
And then she gets to take a trip to Pakistan. Now, I think that's because
And then she's
her grandmother or her mother told her that they need to come.
Yeah, but it's
So,
not
if your mom
she's
says you're
grounded in
coming, you're
Pakistan. She's like,
coming.
oh, go play with your cousins. That's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
punishment. So her mother is a terrible disciplinarian. So
And you know what that creates? Terrible superheroes, and that's how you get the boys. Right?
Yeah,
Superheroes
exactly.
need discipline. That mom needs
she's
to bring
creating
down
her own
that
Homelander.
that diamond hand, that diamond backhand.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this episode I thought was interesting. I had no idea that Karachi was the capital of Pakistan. I had no idea what the capital of Pakistan is. So this show is definitely teaching me a lot. Like I knew
I love it.
Pakistan broke off from India, but I didn't know Bangladesh did too. I didn't really know the big event partition that was the cause of it. And I do like all the Middle Eastern history Middle Eastern South Asian history, because India is technically South Asian.
I just want to point out, this doesn't matter, but I just want to point out, we all have college degrees. We all had to take 2 world history classes. The fact that this isn't well known, I can't just be quote parts of this of history I can other parts. I think sums it up best by her best friend when she was talking about in class that they spend weeks talking about ancient Greece and ancient Rome, and they spend 5 minutes talking about ancient Persia and the Persian Empire.
Well, that's kind of fair, because ancient Greece and ancient Rome have significant cultural influence on our day-to-day
democracy
life, and
but that's
that's
only because that's what we know. If we had more cultural influence from other cultures, then they might have more of an impact on our culture. America
I know
is a melting pot.
Babylon and ancient Persia, I guess Baghdad used to be the most advanced cities on the planet, while we were swimming in our own poop in Europe during the Middle Ages. So I know European royalty would send their sons, and I don't know, I guess their sons to the universities in the Middle East and Baghdad to learn. And I think that's where we learned plumbing, was the Middle East. Although we had in ancient Rome, but we forgot about it in the Middle East. So, but yeah, go ahead, Matt, finish your thought.
Islamabad, by the way, that's all I wanted to say. As the one guy who has a degree in history, Islamabad.
Islamabad?
And for those who don't have a degree in history, what is that word?
It is the capital of Pakistan.
Ah, okay.
Oh, so it's not so Karachi's the biggest city? Pakistan was just a city.
It's a city.
Okay. I don't know. I guess that really shows just how ignorant we are. We just don't Karachi, it must be the capital of Pakistan.
Well, Mahatma Gandhi once fasted for nearly 21 days to end the violence between the Muslim factions and the Islamic.
Actually,
Not to say it's a city. It is actually, I believe, the largest city.
It is. I was going to say, Karachi is the largest city in Pakistan.
In the violence between the Muslims and the Islamic factions.
DC, yeah.
What we would call that in the States is a queen city. Here's a fun fact for you guys. A queen city is when a city has a larger population than its capital.
Of older gay men, right?
So Charlotte, North Carolina is the queen city, not because it was named after Queen Charlotte, but because it has a larger population than Raleigh, the actual capital of North Carolina.
Oh, so when a city is bigger than the capital, it's called a queen city.
It's called a queen city.
Because the king city is the capital, but it's smaller.
Boom.
Okay.
That's it. And Karachi,
pretty much the same.
Karachi is the 12th largest city in the world as of 2019.
Is Dallas a queen city because Houston's the capital?
I don't know.
And Dallas is bigger?
I'll start a population podcast, and I'll ask you.
Austin's the capital of Texas? Really? That was Houston because of the Alamo. Sam Houston.
No.
Oh, here's a fun one. What's the capital of Washington?
The point stands. Dallas is bigger than both of them. Dallas is not the capital, is what I mean, right?
Houston is the largest city, followed by San Antonio, followed by Dallas.
Houston's the biggest city?
Yeah. As of 2022.
Oh, but it's still not the capital, though, is what I'm saying. So is Houston a queen city?
Yes. So by definition, it would be a queen city.
Houston is bigger than Dallas. Wow.
Olympia there, major. Olympia.
Oh, you're not supposed to answer. I love it when people say Seattle.
Is Olympia in Texas?
It makes me feel better. No, Olympia is the capital of Washington. It makes me feel better.
That reminds me of a dad joke. How do you pronounce the capital of Louisiana? Is it New Orleans or N'Orleans?
N'Orleans.
See, I pronounce it Baton Rouge.
I pronounce it.
Never been.
Baton Rouge.
I guess
Seattle. Come on.
Seattle is the queen city then of Washington, right? If Olympia is the capital, I thought. Yeah.
And we just lost all of our viewers because we've deviated.
We don't know geography.
We don't know geography.
Anywhere
I'm
on
not
this
listening to these
planet.
guys about podcasts.
Pakistan, Texas.
Apparently, we're very interested in Miss Marvel. That's the bottom line. Is
Oh,
Yeah, Miss Marvel is so
about
good.
everything.
We've deviated to
Everything
U.S.
but-
capitals.
I can't wait to
what
get
a
talk about
gripping
Red
episode.
Dagger. Is Karachi the capital? So Red
So,
Dagger made his
Red Dagger.
MCU debut. You know, definitely the biggest debut of a character, most anticipated debut since Black Panther in Civil War, I'm sure. Yeah, I knew nothing about this character.
Is
John.
that sarcasm? I've never heard this Red Dagger character before. Okay,
Yeah.
good. I wanted to make sure I just wasn't like missing.
Well, apparently he is
all
like the Black
hype.
Panther. He is like the Black Panther Pakistan though, because apparently it's like it's a title that's passed down, maybe not from father to son, but it's like apparently there's like a whole cadre
A whole sect.
of Red Daggers. So that was kind of interesting. I really wish they delved more into that because that was like way more interesting than like
the rest of the episode.
Forrest, did you get to see his Red Dagger?
Yes, you saw
No,
several
not
of his
on-
daggers.
Not on Disney
okay.
Plus.
And I'm not taking the bait because they were actual knives, not anything else. But yeah, so what's funny to me is that everyone's like, you can't criticize the show because it's a kid's show. And yet we saw several men get skewered by daggers. So this is no longer a kid's show anymore. It's a violent.
Wait a second. I mean, what is the kids show these days? Because I mean, kids like 12, right? Because
No
they're
one
on
getting
Instagram, where there's like, I mean, like what is? I'm just afraid to be a dad. That's a different rant. I'm just worried. How do you?
Yeah.
How do you
What the
protect
fuck?
your?
How do you-
protect your
Yeah,
children? I don't
There's,
know.
like, no parental
I mean, you
controls on
would
some
think
of
that
those apps.
a kid's show like you would never see like anyone getting stabbed to death on That's So Raven or was it the
Very
Wizarding
true.
World, the Wizarding
Very
World of those
true.
twins, or
And I don't think anyone got stabbed in Chippendale. Not
Keenan
positive.
Kel. That's like a way older show. Like I never watched anything like
Yeah,
Disney
geez,
shows.
way to
I
show
watched
your
That's
age.
So Raven a little bit. But,
Okay, boomer.
Yeah, I know.
Kim-
You watched That's So Raven? You're so
It's
old.
Kim Possible. My Google
I did like
just
Kim Possible, yeah.
lit up thinking I said
Did they
it.
make like a live action Kim Possible that like, and then like no one ever spoke of it again?
Until now.
I never
I have
saw
no
it. But it's like I
idea.
heard
I
it was
don't-
like awful. And
I
then,
don't
like,
care. Again, as Tit pointed out, who cares about Mrs. Marvel? We've already derailed from getting back on the train. See what I did there? Let's move on.
We derailed
you.
from derailment.
Well, let's talk about a little more about like great. So,
I guess.
who was the guy Waleed was talking about like the history of the was it the what's the bracelet
Yeah,
called?
talking about like her
I'm
genetics.
so ignorant and white. Was it called?
and
the-
how
the-
they can shape the
bangle.
Nor. Oh, the
Yes, the
bangle,
Nor.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's like what are they called? The clandestines. So
Clandestines.
it's just like
Yeah. What is
I wouldn't
happening?
mind them so much. Like they're basically like they're discount Eternals / discount Asgardians, it seems. But
Yeah, but they're
could you
from,
not
like, a
get them
different
better
dimension?
costumes. They're just like they just like wear regular clothes. Like could you not get them like some Eternal like costumes or some Asgardian like costumes? They're just like people walking around normal clothes with these like really weird, vague weapons. Like I'm not
But
even
aren't they-
sure what the main bad guy, the main villainous weapons are. Like she has these little knives, right? We
I think the whole
really
point is
get a
like
good
they're blending in, right? Like their weapons are very nonchalant, like necklaces and belts, right? And their clothes are nonchalant as well.
look at 'em. Yeah.
I,
I mean, they could be more interesting. They just need to like give them more. I mean, they want to get home.
Oh, from a writing perspective, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we get their motivation, I guess. I mean, it's not really an original one, but
Do
they
we?
want to go home
No, it sounds
And-
like they want to like destroy our world by bringing their world into our world.
basically by going home. They'll destroy our world, is what they're getting at.
Yeah,
And they're
I
like,
don't understand.
I don't care. I'm not coming back here.
Exactly. Yeah, that's their whole. That's why they're evil, is because they don't care. They're going to destroy our world to get home. It's like, can you not like get on the Bifrost or something?
No, it's
just-
a different dimension, whatever that.
Or
means.
since you're immortal, you can probably just like invest in the stock market, wait 50 years,
you just
and then
make
like,
your
you'll
own
have-
bangle.
Exactly.
Now we saw there's some inscription on that bangle that was mentioned in like episode 2, but they never translated it, and then we finally get it translated here.
It was
And
written in
it's
Urdu.
like, yeah, it's
So
like
I
watch
remember some
out,
things.
you might become what you seek or something like that. You
Oh, I
seek
totally
what
forgot
you
about
saw.
Still trying to like this episode.
Yeah, I mean it's a fantastic episode, just chock full of.
I mean, it's
action.
probably the best episode of the 4, which I guess is not saying much, but
You think so? I thought this was the least. strong episode.
I like this one the
before.
most because basically it was,
Wow,
more
you don't remember
heavily,
anything about this
the
episode.
show
This
is
is your
it's
favorite
at its
one?
strongest when it focuses. It shows at strongest when it focuses on the Pakistani aspect and like the actual cultural aspects of Pakistan rather than the actual superhero stuff. Like I've said, like the stuff where they escape prison was lame, and he was like, "No, you stay here. You wait on these stairs until we walk a fair distance away, then you can leave. Like, because you can't be part of our club anymore." So it was really awkward. It's like, all right, we're out of the prison. You help. And they help recommend. It's like, okay, you can't come with us. It's like, can I at least leave the prison? Like, no, you have to stay here. So, and then like 2 of the clandestines died. Right? There was the guy with the beard who got killed.
Yeah.
And then the bald guy who got killed with the whip. So I guess like
Adam,
the 2 ladies.
Yeah.
I don't remember their names.
And then, so there's this big battle at the end, and the big bad lady stabs Kamala's bangle, and it looks like they're.
You mean?
Or do you think they're teleported back in time, or do you think this is
That's
just
what it
another
seemed like.
vision?
Yeah, they go back to partition time.
It seemed like they were literally back in time. It seemed like they literally time traveled.
Going back in time. They didn't play that song, so that was a huge waste. Gonna go back. Was that from Back to the Future? Back in time.
It's so on the nose.
Yeah. It really shows you. Miss Marvel really gets my juices flowing, because I think we're really lame on the nose. Pun like that. Not pun.
I mean, there have been stranger things than that.
Yeah, I was gonna call Tip out because I was like, Tip was like, for stranger things have happened. I was like, well, Tip, that's where the title comes from. That's that saying. But apparently, I looked online. It does not come from that saying. It comes from the book Needful Things by Stephen King. They just took that title and made it their own thing. So they went from Needful Things to Stranger Things.
Didn't they steal the font?
They steal the font. Yeah, they got the font and the idea for the title from Needful Things. I think apparently one of the brothers hated that title, but they couldn't think of anything else by the time they had a green light. They got greenlit, they were stuck with Stranger Things.
If you think about it, Stranger Things is not a great title, and yet it's a phenomenal title. I don't know how else you would.
It's but the show is so iconic now that what else would it be called now? But
exactly,
everybody's just accepted it.
But what's great is the title was so vague. Like when it first came out, I had no idea what it was about. So people would just click it. It's like, what's this show, Stranger Things on Netflix? And so the title doesn't give away anything except that there are things going on and that
they
are
strange.
So,
now,
the slow pan and the music.
And the what?
The slow pan and the music. Yeah, dude. I mean that draws in.
Apparently, I guess whoever published that Needful Things book did not copyright that font. And they're
Are you
probably
talking about Stephen King?
Not Stephen King. I guess whoever published Needful Things was it?
The
Scholastic?
publisher of it.
I doubt Scholastic publishes Stephen King books. But
Scholastic.
Maybe Stephen King for kids. Like abridged versions.
Goosebumps
Coming
Juniors.
to a book fair near you.
Yeah, they probably take out maybe the abridged versions of it. Take out the child orgy. Well, it's not an orgy in the book. It's they run a train on the girl when they're all not teenagers, 12-year-olds. It's really weird. It's really messed up. He was very drunk when he wrote that. Stephen King. So, and more copyright infringement.
Still got that
Seinfeld,
Frasier.
No, what? It's all the way.
We can hear
on.
it.
We can hear
Just
it.
don't
Try
want-
to lie to us.
You've
Try to
ruined
lie to
any
us on
chance
my
of us
pe-
monetizing this episode. So
Or
just
having
don't watch
fans.
TV while we're doing a podcast.
I know. I'm in another room. I told them to turn it down.
Yeah, what are our fans going to think of us when one of us watches Seinfeld? I mean, God.
In the middle, I wouldn't listen to this podcast.
Well, it's not that they're gonna think less of us. It's just the copyright police are gonna be in our butts, and they're not gonna they're gonna take our stuff down. But I don't know. We'll see.
Well,
I think there's
That's
some
won't
fair
listen.
use. There's some fair use clause where you have a snippet of some stuff.
Oh, we have to review it. You can play up to 30 seconds if you review it, and we call it a review.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
gonna be
review
hilarious.
Seinfeld 10 out of 10. Iconic theme song 9 out of 10. Almost as good as Stranger Things.
If we put on the background music, that should cover that up, I would hope.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The question is any of this conversation going to make it into the final cut?
Dear God. So,
So Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. Yeah, that was a great segue.
episode 8.
All right, so we can
Episode
just
8,
cut that part
Papa.
out.
So
Papa, can you hear me?
Oh, and
Papa
what happens
is
to
dead,
Papa?
so he can't hear anyone now. Papa got killed. Spoiler.
Man, he was ready to just do whatever he had to.
Did you guys like
there.
that? I understand the writing, and I appreciate the writing. Like, the writers wrote that, and like that was like how the situation had to come out, right? Like anything else was not plausible. But wouldn't it have been like
it makes sense for his character?
I wanted 11 to kill Papa.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't think they can have her kill an actual. Well, she did kill those 2 guys in the helicopter, so I guess she can't kill people.
She kills people all the time. She's a bad motherfucker.
How many people did she kill before those 2 helicopter people? I mean, to be fair, they were killing the scientists. They had to go. But who did she kill before that? I think she snapped some guy's neck in the first season. Like one of the soldiers.
She snapped, 2 of the guys. Oh, okay. I'm not sure about the soldiers. I was just thinking about it at the very beginning with the scientists.
With that van, I don't know who died, though.
I don't think she killed anyone, because I think Dr. Brenner was on that van, right?
So can I just... The one thing that annoyed me the most about this episode was you're in a facility, a crazy top-secret facility, and your evacuation plan is to have a door that opens up next to your front door.
Well, it wasn't right next to it.
Somewhere 2 miles, not somewhere close. 2 miles away, in the mountains, away from.
Are you talking about the prison?
No, I'm talking about where they bring her and Nina, because they pop out and all the scientists are shot because there's a helicopter hovering there. Like, why is that the escape plan?
There should have been a tunnel.
Yeah, why is there not like a 2 mile tunnel to like?
Yeah.
What if that was the tunnel?
A farther away door. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying, this is the 80s, and if you're being attacked by Russians, you're not going to have your escape hatch be right next to the front entrance that's being invaded by Russians. You know,
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good
Matt's
point.
Matt's going to remind me what happened in this episode, because I'm going to try not to spoil things from episode 9.
They pop out of the tunnel, and Papa's holding her, and they see all the scientists shot dead, because the exit for, hey, we're being attacked, was right next to the front door.
Well, I think did Sullivan go rogue? Because I don't know, who is Brenner working for? Is he working for himself, or is he working for someone higher up?
But the whole point is, why have an exit right next to your entrance?
Because they didn't expect the military to turn on them. Because they were just we are the Men in Black.
But it doesn't matter. You don't create an emergency exit next to your front door.
No, and I disagree with that, because they're like, emergency, we're under attack. All personnel flee. They're over the PA system saying we're under attack. And you don't,
you see the scientists leave.
Yeah, right where the fucking entrance is.
So 11.
Somebody's gonna have to fire that engineer, man.
Well, he's dead.
That's all I gotta say.
He was fired with extreme prejudice.
His name was Anakin Skywalker. He was fired.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I like Sullivan as a villain, but they really need more background on him. He's just sort of generic.
Okay, so that's another thing I had an issue with too. I hate Sullivan because his character is so underdeveloped that it's really just I'm mad. I need to find this person. Let's kill everybody until we can find this person.
He's basically just a plot device. He is no depth. We don't know anything about him. His past.
He's a MacGuffin. Literally, he just shows up. He wants to end this program and kill everybody.
Underdeveloped. That's it.
Way too underdeveloped, especially with a show that at this rate is over an hour per episode. The last 2 episodes are 4 hours. We could have devoted 5 minutes an episode. 5 minutes an episode. To develop his character, and yet
what would have been great is if he knew one back in the day, and one killed a lot of his comrades or some fellow soldiers. That's why he wants to take out 11, because he knows how dangerous these psychics are. It's something like that would have been great. Yeah,
he seems pretty determined.
Or maybe there were psychics before one, and he dealt with them personally, so he knows how dangerous they are. So something like that. It could have been a few minute scene, but yeah, just he's just some military guy who wants to know what happened in Hawkins, and he knows 11's behind it, and he has to kill her. So it was he's very underdeveloped.
So, but besides that, I thought this was a phenomenal episode, because we find out that 11 created the Upside Down by defeating 1.
That was the episode before, right?
Well, it's at the end, and then at the beginning of this, because Vecna is still running what's her name through his background. We find out that the Upside Down is created because of that fight, which is crazy. And the whole idea of Papa saying, "What have you done?" was not about him upset about killing people, but creating the Upside Down, essentially.
Yeah. So
or opening the door to the Upside Down.
Yeah, so maybe not creating, but like creating that gap. But also,
do you think that's? Oh, go ahead, Matt.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think that he was having 11 look for one, or do you think he was telling the truth that he wasn't, that he thought one was dead? Because remember, he was having 11 search for people.
They're doing a lot of retconning this season.
Yeah, he was definitely looking for
a ton of good retconning this season.
So I think.
Well, there's something in the last episode I didn't love, but we can discuss that next week.
I think honestly,
we'll discuss that next week.
As per episode 8, at least, I really think he fears 1 and thinks he is the most powerful, and that 11 cannot stand up to him. That's why he ends up keeping her there and putting the bomb around her neck and everything, because he is truly fearful of the powers that 1 has.
Yeah. Well, and also like even with the power dampening collar on, she can still take down a helicopter. So it's just it really shows you how powerful she is. She's able to I mean, she was like depowered a little bit, but the collar didn't really have much of an effect. Just take out like a helicopter.
So the 2 other quick points I want to make. One is how useless the California crew has been this whole season.
They're good at showing up at the right time.
Yeah,
well,
I guess in episode 8 or 9,
Brenner, but
they'll be better. But like they you could just like not have any of that, and they would have done the same thing.
You just wait, Mister. You just wait.
Well,
that painting and that allegory that they're going to drop a big bomb. Like, who does he really miss? Even when they're in the van, he's discussing how 11, views him as a leader, and he misses his friends. But they hit you with like a hammer over the head with what his true intentions are there. But
you're talking about Will?
What I want to discuss. Yep. What I want to discuss is how do a bunch of older teenagers walk into Rambo worlds and come up with as much munitions as they did.
It's America, baby.
I missed America in the 80s. I'm not going to lie. Trying to explain to the wife that, in the 80s, you could do this.
It's so funny because there's like such a controversy over gun laws in this country, but like in this show, it's just like, well, you kind of need guns to take out the monsters. And they're just sort of like a necessary evil. But it was like there wasn't really any commentary on like how easy it is to get a gun.
It was pre-Columbine.
It was really they just like walk. Like the only tension in that scene is like because they run into Jason, the basketball.
I was going to mention
that was like
gun store.
He's able to buy like a regular gun, like a revolver, no problem. So I don't know. It didn't really seem like the episode was like just like guns are bad. It was just like they needed guns, so they go to a gun shop. It was pretty.
There's no commentary.
It was just story related. There was no commentary.
Yeah. So I will say this though, as a challenge to think of, not a quick answer, for today, but think about this, viewers and listeners or whatever. Name an American movie in which there is not a gun somewhat involved in the plot, and you'll see how ingrained guns are in our
Lord of the Rings.
So.
Lord of the Rings. Shut up. Get off my podcast.
Harry Potter.
Get the fuck out of here.
I guess any movie.
Those are just wands.
Those
are just wooden guns. The correct answer is Titanic. But even then, I think.
No, there's a gun. Remember,
there's a gun.
Billy Zane tries to shoot Leonardo DiCaprio.
See, even then. Son of a bitch.
Billy Zane, who was in The Boys.
There's a gun everywhere.
Had a cameo in the Deep's Lifetime movie.
We've already
That's
talked
interesting.
about
Think about.
Don't segue back into The Boys.
But this is the Billy Zane. We're gonna do a whole episode on Billy Zane's career.
Seriously,
I think
Titanic to
already
Zoolander.
did that.
Think about an American movie in which a gun is not involved.
Yeah. An American movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's talking about American
European.
culture.
It takes place in like America after 1776.
It could take place in Europe, like Taken. Like it's just American culture in general. That's
Halloween.
Just a movie released in America.
Aladdin.
That takes place in the Middle East before guns existed.
But it was released in America.
You really have to stretch.
The Lion King.
Yeah. I mean, I just had to get to a kids movie
going
from
Disney.
the 60s. to put this in some contrast for us, you asked a great question earlier. Just how many people have 11 killed? And I've got the numbers for you
two
here.
at least. I think like 3.
11 killed 13 people in season 1.
Really?
She killed roughly 28 creatures in the Upside Down in season 2, and only 4 people in season 3.
She killed 4 people in season 3. Like, who are they? Russians?
Yeah, Russian guards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, season 1 was a lot darker than the other seasons, and that's why I like this season a lot more because it was a lot more serious. I mean, there was still like the comedy in this season, but I think I did like this season a lot more than 2 and 3 because it was a lot more serious. And I think they definitely, they realized the problems that had arose in season 2 and 3, and I like that they went ahead and fixed them. They didn't like pull a Witcher and like do like a meta dialogue between the bard and some dude saying like, you know, poking fun at the critiques of the show.
I think you make a great point. Season 1 was dark, and it was a horror kind of like was the predominant like theme
genre,
and now you know comedy seems to be, and friendship and like action seem to be the theme, and it's in a horror setting. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah, it's a coming of age story, masked and you know, masquerading around in the horror genre.
And I don't think this isn't really a spoiler, but this season really made me like care about Max and Lucas, 2 characters I did not really care for. Not that like they were a lot more developed this season, I felt.
That's true.
Matt.
Especially like Lucas turning to the dark or the jock side.
The jock side. Matt,
the
I gotta tell
jock
you,
side.
make sure to bring your
what they're
tissues into the season finale.
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
So
I saw the trailer in which Munson plays on his guitar, and I'm waiting for that because like
that was an awesome scene.
They have not played any metal. Yeah. They hint that he is a metal god and he's obsessed with metal. They even joke about when they're trying to bring Nancy back, like, oh, what is this trash? And they're like throwing all these metal cassettes around.
We need music.
And they have yet to actually play metal. And so I'm waiting for that. And I will cry when the metal is played.
Oh,
yeah.
Such a
it was.
What year is this
happy.
in?
Matt, you'd be very happy.
Is it
86? 86
This
now.
is 86. So, you know, just maybe research what metal songs are available then.
Metallica?
Some famous ones. Well, yeah, okay.
Gotta get some Iron Maiden, some Megadeth.
Judas Priest.
Maybe a little Run to the
Black
Hill.
Sabbath.
Run to the Hill would be fun.
Saxon.
Depending on why he's playing metal in the Upside Down.
Angel Witch.
I will
Wink,
just
wink.
be really upset if he's a hair metal
Dio.
guy. I will be beyond upset if he's a hair metal guy. If I hear Motley Crue, I'm gonna literally take my 65-inch
hair
TV
metal.
and throw it out the window.
Oh,
Matt,
see, now I just
go
kind of want
watch
to get into
now.
video
Motley
editing.
Crue is one of those bands I think, you know, slides into true metal territory. It is a hair metal band, but I think of all those, like, you know, Cinderella's definitely hair metal, Poison's hair metal, but I think Motley Crue is the closest that comes to true metal, or like I guess new wave of true heavy metal.
Warrant. Dear God, if I hear Warrant.
Oh yeah,
There's,
Cherry Pie. I hate.
There's no cherry pie. Don't worry about it. Oh my gosh.
If you
I'm
heard
kidding.
that guy in an interview, he absolutely hates that song. Like he's just like, I hate cherry pie. Cherry pie is my legacy. You know, I never wanted to make cherry pie. That was like something the producer.
Oh, the Warrant interview?
Yeah, he hates cherry pie so much. But yeah, it's not hair metal, is what we're saying. But yeah, what else happened this episode? I mean, really, like the Mike, Jonathan. They've just done a terrible job with Jonathan as a character, I think, these past 2 seasons. Like, he really has had nothing to do.
I mean, maybe they'll kill him off.
Really, since, like, season... I mean, 2, like, that's when he hooked up with Nancy. But, like, you know, season 3, they didn't have anything to do with him. Season 4, he's just driving around. Like,
yeah,
Argyle
his buddy Argyle's more important than he is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we haven't discussed the whole helicopter thing and how Yuri is still, you know... They escaped the base in a random van, and apparently cars can block bullets now. And they go and find that it's really a helicopter. That
I know they went through that Shawshank Redemption tunnel, and they're still inside the prison.
Right.
They still have to drive out. It's kind of like I don't know. Well, it's just funny that they had that long ass tunnel, and they're still in the prison. I was like, well, they're
I love it and I appreciate it. I just hate the fact that like they're like, it's just such a movie thing where you can run through a gate and get shot at, but none of the bullets hit you because cars are bulletproof.
Yeah, it also irked me. They go to the exact same prison Hopper was taken prisoner,
exactly,
where he was captured, and they didn't think to go look for them there. I mean, I know they got like the Demogorgon to worry about, but they're probably like, hey, we got some escaped prisoners. They probably went to that church. They'd be stupid if they did go to that church, but just in case, maybe check it out.
I love the nod to Aliens Resurrection. I think was the fourth one with the growing of the Demogorgons. It's literally the same exact thing as in Aliens and then Aliens Resurrection. I love little subtle nods to movies like that.
Well, yeah, Paul Reiser, like that's like a nod to Aliens, not like a nod, but he was in Aliens, so I was like, that was a popular '80s movie.
He's great this season. I enjoy Paul Reiser.
He was barely in season 3. Like he just showed up at the very end of season 3, right? And then he's still. I guess I was wondering if he was gonna like turn out to be evil or not. Because it seemed like he was like trying too hard to be nice to 11. It was like,
is he? What's your real? What's your real motivation?
I thought it'd be great if like he was really an even bigger piece of shit than Brenner was. Like that would have been a cool, not cool, but like
is they have been doing a ton of homages to Aliens, especially this season. And it took me 3 or 4 episodes to realize who that actor was because he's just so like much older. I was like, wait a second,
he's really changed.
Is that really him?
And he's also in The Boys too. He's the legend. He's the legend in The Boys. So I was like, wow, good for him. He's still like Giancarlo Esposito. He's like in all the popular shows now, Stranger Things and The Boys, and Giancarlo's in Better Call Saul, The Boys, and Mandalorian. So it's just like, you can get in any one of these shows, they'll put you in another giant show. So, but yeah. So I'm glad Owens is still alive for now. They seem like develop Sullivan more.
I'm definitely looking forward to watching episode 9 tonight. It's going to be fun. They have wrote this whole season for like the next episode, and I love it. So
they need to call it Movie 9 because it's not really an episode. It's like an actual feature-length film.
2.5 hours.
Yeah, basically.
It's crazy.
It's funny because like each episode in part 1 was like almost like an hour and a half already, or like over an hour. And like, well, actually, like an hour and 15, I think was the average time for most of the episodes. Like it's like almost like 12 episodes of content. Or 12, So like if a normal episode's like 40 minutes or 45 minutes, there's like at least like 12 of them. If you
this is one of the few times I don't mind the whole 9 episodes or 7 episodes or like a non 8, 10, 12, because I would much rather you show a full episode with how much time you need than to try to like break it into 2 smaller episodes. Like if the story needs to be told this way, this is the way to do it.
That's one of the things I'm really liking about the new season of Orville. The Orville when it got picked up by Hulu. It's called New Horizons, right? But I was reading an interview with Seth MacFarlane talking about the new season, and it's like it's more cinematic. It's got more of like a movie feel to it. Like it's not constrained to 42 minutes, and that's one of the things he was talking about in this interview was just how nice it was to be able to tell a story for as long as the story needed to be told. Right?
Nice.
The story took an hour and 5 minutes to tell. It's an hour and 5 minute episode, right? If it only takes 50 minutes to tell, then it's only 50 minutes. They don't need to fluff it out to an hour.
Exactly. The Orville actually funny because I was watching a clip the other day, like where they're trying to escape from this show, not the show, but the ship, and they just fly into this Jupiter-like planet.
It's witty, it's clever, it's smart,
but it's not funny.
Like, it's not haha funny. Like I mean, there's like one laugh out loud moment, like one chuckle per episode maybe, but it's just really smart. Like yes, it shows off like just more like Seth MacFarlane's like smart, clever, like it's just good stories. They're good Star Trek stories. That's all it is.
You just explain. So it's like the Venture Brothers. It's not like laugh out loud funny, but you just the storytelling's so strong. And it's Venture Brothers.
If that's what you want to call it.
Venture Brothers, like it's like dialogue funny. I mean, first of all, watch like the season 2 finale. I think
I watched the whole first season for you, buddy.
You gotta get season 2 because that's when it starts getting really. That's like when the Guild of Calamus Intent and the Monarch and Phantom Limb, and like all these moving parts.
If we get enough people tweeting at us at Zealot Podcast on Twitter, requesting that we cover Venture Brothers, then I'll watch not just season 2. I'll watch season 3 for you. How about that?
If you finish season 2, you'll be hooked till watch through season 7. Guarantee you. I guarantee it. Men's Warehouse. You're gonna like the way you look. Venture Brothers.
Yeah, but am I gonna like
what you
watch?
watch?
Am I gonna like what I'm watching? That's
you are.
the real question. You guarantee
I
it?
know.
So, Major, you're talking about our social media presence. What were those again?
Yeah, so on Twitter, you can reach out to us. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are on Stranger Things this season, or the podcast. You know, we've talked about, obviously, The Boys. We just got finished with Obi-Wan, if you want to go back and check our back catalog. You can find us on Zealot Podcast on Twitter, or Zealot Podcast on Twitter for all my Canadian homies out there. And then we also have a Discord, and I'll drop that link in the description as well. And that'll be right beside that button where you can rate and review this podcast. Give us 5 stars. Tell us how much you like it, or how much you hate it, or how much you like Seinfeld. Because
did you really cover everything?
That covers in our podcast too.
In Stranger Things?
I mean, how far are you with Yuri? I don't want to give away too much, so
yeah,
I'm afraid
I was
to
like, Matt
like,
would summarize the episode.
And they're gonna fly the helicopter. So that's as far as, and they go back to the church where he was, captured.
Yeah.
So what are your predictions? Well, I mean, I'm gonna run you through a couple scenarios and we'll get your thoughts on it, right? Hopper and Winona Ryder. Do you think they're gonna bang, or do you think they're gonna save the kids?
I think that their whole storyline will not delve at all with the kid storyline at all. They'll make it back to America and get back to California and be like, "Hey, so how was your week of vacation?"
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe I'm worried you're gonna spoil something for them. And
no, I'm just asking. I'm just asking
really,
generic questions. One.
Now I'm really, because I really want to talk about like their storyline in the last episode.
We'll talk about it all next week.
Maybe we should.
But I just want to get his thoughts. Like, do you think Vecna dies next episode, Matt?
I don't think he's truly destroyed, but there's a sense of we've won the moment.
Okay. All right, kind of like an opposite Infinity War. Let's see. Who saves lovebirds? Does Nancy pick Steve or Jonathan? What do you think?
Spider-Man.
There you go. Always.
That's a good choice.
What is that? Is that when you wrap them up?
Actually, Major, I've seen the episode. I don't even know the answer. What the hell?
Well, tune in next week, Tip, and you'll find out.
I didn't
Tip, I thought you had Netflix.
I do.
You just haven't seen Stranger Things yet?
No, I have.
Oh,
he just doesn't remember. It was a 2.5 hours. Yeah,
come on.
remember this, Matt. When you're thinking about when you finish episode 9, your first thought's gonna be wow, and your second thought's gonna be wow. Episodes 8 and 9 were the same length as Obi-Wan, the entire series, and it told so much of a better story in those two episodes.
Matt, if you start now, your first thought after you watch it is like, wow, I need to probably go to bed. So.
No, seriously, like the worst part is I can't start it until the kids go to bed, so I don't even start these episodes till and not only just
kids,
like you have to give them a buffer too. So like my kids, it's summer vacation, it's 8:39, they go to bed, so like I can't even turn it on until 10 o'clock at night usually.
It's so
I'm
funny
looking forward to like being up to 1 o'clock in the morning to watch one episode.
Yeah. It's like kids can't watch this show, and yet it stars kids.
Yeah.
Right.
And like the thing is, like they were like what, 7 years younger in the first season, which was like the darkest season.
Yeah, seriously.
So I wonder if they could even watch it. So.
They couldn't watch their own production
show. So with that, I think that was...
So that's our show. So next week we're gonna talk about the Boys finale. We're gonna talk about the Stranger Things finale, and we're gonna talk about another episode of Miss Marvel.
Finale?
I'm guessing y'all don't love the show either.
No, I really enjoyed Miss Marvel up until this most recent episode, and it might not be this episode. It might have been the fatigue of Stranger Things and The Boys and just everything else like I watched. So it might have just been too much TV, but that's not my problem. That's
you have to keep your Disney Plus subscription just a little bit longer now that Obi-Wan's over, and now that Miss Marvel still has a few more weeks. I think you're just spiteful. You have to keep your Disney Plus.
Now, do you
Me,
think they're
Spicy
going to come out
Never.
with a Mistress Marvel?
A Mistress Marvel?
Yeah.
Isn't Miss short for Mistress?
Yeah, it is. Mrs. Short for Mistress. I was going to point that out. They have, Tip. I'd love to tell you about this. We actually have a podcast. We actually have, if you want to go back into our back catalog, we've covered every episode of Miss Marvel. So you can check it out. Or Mistress Marvel, if you're being all proper without
I think it's just
abbreviations.
Mrs. MISSUS.
Is there a Mr. Marvel in her future?
No, but there is an outro. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Again, if you want to reach out to the podcast, you can reach out to us on Twitter at Zealot Podcast. Thanks so much for listening. We really appreciate it. God bless.
Yeah.
2022. Inflation
yeah.
might be shit. The economy might be shit, but damn, television is good right now. Check back with us next week as we cover the season finales of your favorite
and
TV
Thor:
shows.
Love and Thunder comes out this week.
Oh no! Are we going to do a special episode on that, or are we want to?
I don't know if I don't know if the reviews have been amazing, but I don't know. I'll check it out some point.
Why didn't anybody warn me
I
that
haven't even
freaking
rated it.
Doctor Strange was so terrible? That is
You
the
didn't
worst
you
movie.
didn't like seeing Black Bolt lose his mouth?
The Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah,
The multiverse of mediocrity.
Yeah, I gotta tell you
it's
that
the
Black
worst
Bolt
movie.
scene.
I turned it off. I was like, "This is garbage."
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry you didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, you see all those memes we've been posting, like Reed's just like, Wanda, we know how to bring back your children. Black Bolt, tell her.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt's just like, I gotta go watch Stranger Things.
Yeah, that comment.
Oh no, I think Matt was
shared
flipping
on-
off. Matt was flipping off the movie Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness.
No, I have not seen that one yet. It comes out on
Oh,
HBO
crap.
or Disney or something here in a
Oh,
minute.
sorry.
So, yep.
Oh, I was just saying how
well,
bad it is.
Are
It
you
sucked.
a big Black Bolt fan?
No, but
Actually, I want to.
You're about to
plug,
be.
Hold on.
Who's that? I didn't even get to that part in the movie. I don't know what you're talking
So
about.
Black
show-
Bolt
I
is
wanna
the
sh-
leader of the
No, man.
Inhumans,
Yeah.
which is a television show briefly
No,
ran.
don't
on
spoil it for
ABC.
Matt. No, he's about to cry.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
I'm not spoiling, but I'm giving a
camera.
Well, I can't show it now, but I got the Inhumans graphic novel by Paul Jenkins when I went to HeroesCon. I highly recommend it.
yeah. As soon as
But that's our show, everyone. We're going to talk
Flip it
about
out.
all these great shows next week. So I'm Forrest.
I'm Major.
I'm Robbie.
maybe I am your dad named Matt.
And I'm Tip.
Hey,
Take care,
don't,
everyone.
Don't forget, guys. You gotta be running up that hill, be running up that road, be running up that building,
Running up
baby.
that
Get those
Yeah, or get your arms snapped.
get those royalties, Kate Bush. All right,
Don't
bye,
forget to
everyone.
like and subscribe.